Alright, we appear to be recording. Okay, pins in the carpet, not a good thing. One of the commonest things that holds us back as creatives is One of the commonest things that holds us back as creatives... Damn it, I've done it again. One of the commonest things that holds us back as creatives is perfectionism. I've made a video about this before, but I think it's worth revisiting because so many of us deal with it, so many of you talk about it so much in your emails to me and in our comments below my videos. What if, let's tackle this again, what if perfectionism was just a story in a book? And what if you could put that book back on the shelf? What would become possible if you put down the perfectionism? What would you feel able to tackle? Well, that's easy for me to ask, but how do you actually do that? Perfectionism has become so much of our inner dialogue that it can be difficult to make it back down. So let's put it on the shelf by thinking this way. What if you were able to allow your creative projects to have a life of their own? What if you didn't act in such a controlling way with them? Have you ever thought of creative projects as your children? How does it turn out when people try to control their children and make them perfect, rather than allowing them to grow and have a life of their own? I think it would be a good idea to stop resisting what our projects are going to be and let them grow into what they're going to be. Let them take a different turn if you want them to. Don't keep trying to force them into the box of the original idea you had in your head that you're trying to realise. Let them go somewhere else if you want them to, or if they want to. Stop resisting so hard an alternative outcome. All you need to do with your project or with anything else is to let them be what they're going to be. To set out to do something, to see what results you get, to pivot a little bit if it's not turning out quite like you had in mind. See what results you get, pivot again, try again. Your creative journey is not just about this one project. Give it a try, see how it turns out, and maybe do something different. I think the overall idea I'm going for here is we tend to be very attached to the idea that we originally had in our head. And that idea we originally had in our head we're labelling as perfect. It's got to be perfect. And if it's not perfect, it's wrong. What if it could be more than that original idea you had in your head? What if that original idea you had in your head wasn't perfect and it could be better? Why not let it be something else? So I think the way to let go of perfectionism is to see it instead as attachment. What if we could have a go at practicing non-attachment? You may have heard of this before. It's a Buddhist principle. You don't have to be a Buddhist or be of any particular religion or no religion to embrace this principle, to not be attached to the outcome. Or, to put it another way, what if you could just allow things to be as they are? Much of our suffering in our lives, and in our creative lives in particular, comes from being so attached to the outcome. It's got to be how I want it to be. What if you could just allow things to be what they are? What if you could just allow your emotions to pass like the weather and just let it be? All of our suffering comes from resisting and wanting things to be different than what they are. And it's very noble to want to change your circumstances to make things different from what they are. And that's a noble endeavour. But I think more often it would be useful to be able to just allow things to be what they are, and to allow your project to be what it is. Have you ever had a project in which you just let go of the outcome and just let it grow into whatever monster it wanted to be? How did that turn out for you? Tell me in the comments below, and I'll see you next week. This is a very old book. I bought it on Abe Books, I think. It was one of the first books I picked up in my university library that was full of costumes. And I went, this is fascinating. And, you know, a new career was born. But it's a book full of, it's got little bits of newspaper cut out in it, and little bits, somebody's made bookmarks out of the pages of an old diary from 1936. I love that.